Hi, sweet friends. It's Amy Lay, the Invincibility Coach. I have a mission to get the planet in a better mood. It's kind of big, right? I get it. But I'm trying my best, and I think that there's a good chance that we can make an impact here. So, how do I do that? Well, I work with individuals, I work with teams, and more and more, I feel like my messaging is kind of starting to simplify to the point where what I'm really trying to do is help people get a hold of themselves. So, a long time ago, kind of like a TV trope, this if you're old enough, you would remember, like back in the 1950s, there were these movies that if somebody was hysterical, anybody really, I mean, it doesn't have to be male or female or whatever, but it's like another person in the show would like slap the person across the face. I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying this is what happened. And they would say, get a hold of yourself. And so I realized yesterday that I've said that before, actually, in some of my messaging, like a while back. It's probably in a blog post or something. But I'm serious. Like, we need to get a hold of ourselves. And so, what I think is so awesome about that, not the slapping, seriously, just forget about that part. What we need to do is forget about everybody else for just long enough to get a hold of ourselves. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, I mean, that's what I do. I work with people to do that, and it works, and I love what I do, okay? But these little videos I'm doing, though, are to give you little things to think about. Because if you're not ready to pull the trigger and work with a coach, whether that be me or somebody else, that's fine. That's your business. But I really do like to give you things to think about while you're considering how you might get a hold of yourself. And here's one of them. So I think that the word hard, the phrase hard work, nose to the grindstone, all that kind of stuff, man, you guys, I think it's tired. I think it needs to go. Because if you think about how often we hear people say, including ourselves, well, that's going to be hard, or like this thing that I have to do, or moving forward with some project, or just life. It's hard. You hear it all the time. And man, I'm tired of it. I think the phrase, the word, the feeling behind it, right? Do you guys feel how fatiguing that is? Hard work. It's going to be hard, right? How did you get where you are today? How did you get there? Well, it was a lot of hard work. I'm serious, you guys. It's done. It's done. Okay? So, what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about your mindset. Okay? You've all heard people talk about mindset. There's lots of different ways we can talk about mindset. The most simplistic way is, do you have a fixed mindset? Which means you limit yourself. Oh no, that could never happen. No. Nope. This is just the way it is, and I've got to just stick through it. This is just the way it is, right? Stuff like that. It's a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset, which is essentially anything's possible. Do you think you could really do that though? Absolutely. How? I don't know, but I can do it. I don't know. We'll see. Don't you think that's going to be kind of hard? Stop. Stop right there. What? Why does hard need to get so much credit? Hard's not doing the work. You are. You're doing the work. Okay? And I know I've talked about this before in either videos in the past or blog posts. I get it. But I'm really sticking to this, you guys, because you need to stop giving hard all the credit. You are the one putting a foot in front of the other foot and making certain things happen. Or, which is actually a little bit more common, you're not doing it, whatever it is, because you think it's hard, because you think it's too hard, and it's not worth it, right? So you let this word have so much power. In fact, you're giving it your power. Okay, so what do we do with all this? Like, sure, you could, up to this point in the video, you could be like, sure, I agree with you. Yeah, it makes sense. But how do I do it? Right? Well, we're talking about mindset, right? And maybe you just need an incentive, right? You need an incentive to have a better mindset. Because really, our mindsets are just habits, right? Here's the deal though. We have these things in our body called cytokines. And this is not a science lesson. Remember, I don't do your homework for you, so you can go read about cytokines, but they have to do, like proteins and stuff, they have to do with your immunity. So we have this thing called a pandemic raging around the globe right now. And whether you believe it's happening or not doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not, because it's happening. So here's the deal though. Wouldn't you like to be strong and healthy, therefore immune, or at least as immune as possible from getting this thing? I would. So here's the deal. These cytokines that are a part of our immunity, our immune system, our ability to have an immunity against disease, right? When we are stressed or our body feels stress in disease, and stress are very connected, right? So when we sense this, these cytokines rush to our rescue to try to protect the cells, right? And when we're over the top stressed and thinking negatively, because that immediately is interpreted by our body as like, we got to fight against this, right? I mean, think about it. When you feel like hell, your body doesn't feel good. Your body doesn't feel good. And your body is like, hey, something's going on here, so we got to fight against it. So we release these cytokines, right? There's a lot of different ways. They talk about it like a cytokine storm, whatever. Well, I want you to realize that what's happening when we have a negative mindset and we are fearful and we live in this like worrisome environment all the time, that the cells release too many cytokines. So it's literally an overreaction. Okay? So what I want you to get from this is that we could stop overreacting. Yeah, but the world, I mean, think about the world. And have you read the news lately, Amy? I mean, good grief. Or have you been watching what's going on? There's reason to overreact. I'm telling you, there's not. Because it is not helping you. It's hurting you. Your overreaction to the news, to this, to that, and your tendency to just think about things being so hard is killing you. It's making you more vulnerable, right? And I don't mean like a healthy vulnerability, right? I mean it is breaking you down. So, do what you need to do. Put notes around your house that are affirming all of the positive things that maybe you don't entirely believe, but that you wish were a circumstance for you, right? Things like, I always get everything that I need. Everything happens to me for my best interest. Everything I need to know is revealed to me. Everything I need to know comes to me. All of these things in the most perfect way, right? There's a ton of affirmations out there, you guys. And, you can memorize them if you want. That's what I've kind of done over the years. Or you can just put notes around to encourage yourself. But what I'm telling you is that the more you allow yourself to be worrisome and to be saying words like don't, can't, shouldn't, never, all these things, it is actually lowering your immunity. And in a time like now, when immunity is really important, I think we need to be more positive, because that mindset is going to balance out the release of our cytokines, and then our cells will be able to fight off disease and pressure and the negativity, right? There's gonna be more balance there, versus an overreaction where it starts killing the cell and it starts going overboard with it, right? And so let's just practice having an appropriate reaction for things. Thing is, we don't really know what that looks like because we haven't really had an impetus to make us practice having an appropriate reaction. And so, but we could start now. We could start now. This is what I do, you guys. Getting the planet in a better mood. It is about getting a hold of you, getting a hold of yourself. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing, whether they're wearing a mask or not. Like, seriously, you guys, stop worrying about other people. Sounds weird because you're like, but there's so much to, talk about. There's so much to critique. Here. Put it here. Put the concentration here. Because the truth of the matter is that everything in your environment is a reflection of the beauty inside of you. So if what you are seeing, especially in your immediate environment, like at home, if you don't like what you see, it's just reflecting what's inside of you. So change what's inside of you. You do have that power. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Change what's inside of you, okay? And then you'll start to see the environment around you improve. Believe it. Now, if the whole no, I would really rather go around saying that everything's hard and having a bad attitude and just, continuing looking at the news every day and letting those images come into my mind and that becomes what I'm consumed with, you can do that too, right? I mean, you don't have to believe that changing your mindset and actively practicing positivity works. You don't have to believe it. Remember, you don't have to do jack. You don't. But you could. You could. And it might keep you alive. Peace out.